Hello and welcome to the best video game you've never played, the podcast where I, stand-up and improv comedian Lewis Dunn, invite guests on to bring on a video game that I've never played. I then play it for some time and we sit down and have a chat about whether or not it's the best video game that you've never played. Sorry is the first thing I need to say to you. Well, sorry for such a big gap between episodes. I have been phenomenally busy with the Any Suggestions Doctor tour right now that's going on. As I'm recording right now, it's the 27th of November, which means that tomorrow I'm off to Swindon, so that will be done by the time you're hearing this. And on the 4th of December, I'm going to be in London at the Museum of Comedy. There's other dates as well coming next year, but I've now got a little bit more time than I normally would have, so I thought I will crack on and get another episode out. So, this week's guest is Mary O'Connell. She is a fantastic stand-up comedian. Someone who I personally think is one of the funniest stand-up comedians I've seen come up through the circuit, as it were. And I'm very, very glad that she's agreed to do this. I'll be honest with you, I asked her to do this show because I was just sort of on a limb, just thought, maybe there's something. I know who Mary is. She's a very cool person who doesn't really like video games. So I'll ask her, but I doubt she'll want to do it. I just want to ask and see. And then she had something. And I couldn't believe my luck. I couldn't believe that we were lucky enough to have this. So, without further ado, here is Mary O'Connell discussing probably the only video game she could have possibly brought on this podcast. So let's take a listen. Hello, Mary. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've got to say, I've done this podcast a few times now, Mary. And I really wanted to make sure I didn't just get a load of people on who are bringing on like the inevitable video game classics that are always talked about all the time. I really wanted to get a lot of different people on this podcast bringing on stuff that they had real affection for and that was really different. And you have absolutely brought on something I did not expect to turn up, and I'm kind of glad about that. I'm kind of glad I'm having my horizons expanded by this podcast. So
I'm glad to have expanded them. I
mean, this is the thing, Mary. Like, you and I know each other mostly through comedy, from doing stand-up comedy, from where we met at university at the Comedy Society. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really great because normally particularly around video games, I normally spend my time talking to people who are in a very similar, like, world as me, as it were. And I feel like I'm very glad that you've come on to bring this particular game on, because this is something that I think it's probably for the best that you explain what it is you've brought on.
Okay, so the game is Kim Kardashian Hollywood. It's an app, it's a smartphone app, and it's one of those build your own world games where you sort of like spend energy doing tasks and jobs and challenges, and you get experience points and money, and you basically get to like build I would say an empire. I basically have an empire, my level of the game, but you're trying to get fans and just build a brand and become famous in the game. And
now this is the thing, is that so obviously, I think this goes from the start. I'm not a Kardashian fan. I'm not someone who is engaged in the world of the Kardashians. This is the thing. I'm not necessarily someone who's like super angry about the Kardashians or anything. It's just like, it's over there and I'm over here.
Yeah, it's so 2011 to be angry at them. It's, it's past the point of anger. They're here to stay.
Yeah, that's very much true. They are here to stay. It doesn't matter what you think about the Kardashians anymore. They are here to stay. But like, I'm used to playing video games about like the science fiction future in space, or about elves and dwarves, and I've got really strong like bedrock opinions about what I think about those sort of games and those sort of worlds. I'm like, oh, it's good for this type of thing, it's bad for this type of thing. I'm playing Kim Kardashian Hollywood. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like being in a country where you do not speak the language. You're just sort of nodding and smiling and going, I really hope that they know I'm not taking any of this in, because I don't know what's going on.
How so, Lewis? It feels like it's the easiest place to get around for me. It's logical. I understand it. It's like you do this event, you'll get this many fans. You buy a business, you make the business grow, you get fans because you've got a business. I'm like, it's all it is just good tips for my future, really.
Right. So this is the thing I find kind of interesting. You say you're building an empire.
Uh-huh.
What sort of an empire?
I am the brand. And
a brand of what?
A famous person. So I do other things to just ensure that I am the product. And so I can have different businesses. I've got several different businesses in Kim K Hollywood. I've got a salon. I've got a perfumery. I've got a ski resort. So
it's like you're an entrepreneur. Is that it?
Yeah. You're an entrepreneur, but you're also a famous person. I do acting gigs. I do modelling gigs. I do campaigns. It's just like, I think the thing about where fame has got to, in a sense, is like, I think it used to be kind of uncool to do adverts or be be like the brand ambassador for anything, but like that's changed completely, and now it's super cool to be a brand ambassador and have all those other businesses on the side. It's not just about like, oh, you're talented at this, so you should just do this. I mean, Rihanna's a billionaire from Savage Fenty lingerie and her beauty line.
So this is the thing that's interesting to me about Kim Kardashian Hollywood picking it up. So I should explain the game starts with you make a character in a sort of little thing where you make it. I just let it randomly generate a character for me because I didn't really know. I'm not really somebody who likes doing the character customization, which is a big problem in enjoying this game for me. But I'm like, okay, so I've got the character. I'm playing as a woman called Isabella, and.
I don't know why that made me laugh.
Yeah, I figured as well, given like what the brand is and what it's about, what I associate with Kim Kardashian, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play as a glamorous woman. That to me seems like the logical like.
Fair enough, fair.
Yeah, like if I'm playing another video game, it's like the equivalent of the default white man who's given a gun. I'm like, yes, this is this game's default white man who's given a gun. The game starts with you meet Kim Kardashian in the street, and she likes you. And puts you in touch with someone who can help you start your career as a question mark. It doesn't really care what you want to be, because you can choose between being like an actor or a singer, or as you say, like a model or a fashion brand. And it's sort of like, it's not a game where it's like become the best actor or become the best fashionista. It's a game where it's called become the most famous person for whatever reason that you care to be famous for.
Yeah, why not?
And, but this is what's strange is then, as a result, the game isn't about like getting better at anything. It's about just doing things to be noticed.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's one of those like build your own world games. It's sort of like you're just decorating things, and like there's no real.
There is a goal.
There's sort of a goal, but there's not a lot of skill required.
There's not a lot of skill required.
You just make choices.
Do you?
Ish. I mean, like, I guess where I've gotten to the game, because if you play it for a long time, it can. Also, I do go through periods of like not playing it at all. It's only because I started playing it again that I suggested it, because I'm not super. This is my kind of video game. I don't really do much else. Sure. But yeah, I mean, I remember there was this other game I used to play called Castle Story, and you just sort of had a kingdom, and you would like harvest crops, and like, it's just like spending energy on like whatever like task you want to get done.
Yes,
I've got my own reality show in Kim K Hollywood that I like, produce and star in, just as a project.
But this is interesting because I've not played it as long as you have. I am still an E-level celebrity in the game. It takes forever to do anything in the game, which is of course by design. And we'll get onto why it's by design later. But the game, if I'm just talking about the gameplay of Kim Kardashian Hollywood, the gameplay is you read dialogue and then you press OK at the end of the dialogue, or sometimes you can say instead. And then you click on a thing to move to another location. Mm-hmm. Usually you will listen to some more dialogue after that. Mm-hmm. And then you go to events where you sort of turn up and it goes, okay, you're going to do this event. You've got 3 hours at this event to try and impress as much as you can during the event, and you'll be ranked out of 5 stars.
Yes.
And then when you go to the event, there are small coloured pins all over the event, and each of them consumes energy, and then you press them until it's consumed all the energy, and then it goes, okay, you did well there because you pressed that. And then the event ends. And that's the gameplay. That's all the game is. You just tap on the screen until it says good boy.
In those actions, it sort of sneaks in tips for how to be professional for all your gigs. I've learnt a lot from this game. I know what's important to do with meetings. You got to dress to impress.
Yeah, check makeup.
Yeah.
Get comfy. That's another one of the things that popped up. Have a shot of vodka. Having a shot of vodka takes 5 energy, but getting comfy takes 1 energy.
Well, I think they know that a shot of vodka, that's a choice. That's
That's
it's like,
time.
I'm going to be social tonight, or am I just going to be comfortable and sit down and, not socialise as much as I can. Also, it's important to make connections in this game. It's all about networking. You pick up, there are sort of like, I don't know, I guess bots in the game, and you sort of talk to them, and once you talk to them, you can kind of add them to your collection of contacts. And then when you do gigs, you can call them and be like, hey, come do this gig with me, and you'll get extra points for that.
Yeah, I had only just met someone who I could do that with recently, and I still haven't figured out how to get them to call them, but they are in my phone now. But I think the thing that sort of, I don't know, like, one thing that I think would have made it more interesting would be if at the events you could make wrong choices. So you could tap on the wrong thing and it would go, for example, the doing a shot of vodka, that comes from, there's a launch for a brand of vodka. So drinking the vodka at the event, obviously the thing you want to do, because that's why everyone's there. But I think it would have been interesting if, for example, you could have too much of the vodka, and then that could backfire and hit your fame back. Or like I don't know, you talk to someone who you shouldn't talk to because they're, dating someone else or something. Or like you just sit in the corner of the party and as a result you don't get the attention. Like you could have built in, like, the only way to fail with the game is just to not engage with it.
Yeah, to be fair, in later storylines, the story, I'm not sure if you've met your nemesis yet, but everyone...
I do have a nemesis, yes.
Have you got, it's Willow Pape. I mean, Willow Pape is everyone's nemesis in the game. But there'll be some storylines with her when, I think there's maybe not an option to punch her, but maybe to say something like really below the belt and insulting, and it's like, nope. And then there's another option to be the bigger person. So yes. There's but sometimes it's quite funny, because if you pick, depending on what you pick, it will give you like extra points or money, and sometimes when it's to say something really mean, it'll give you money for doing that. Instead of being the bigger person.
I don't think it cares what you press. I don't think the people who have designed this game have designed an alternative path or alternative, I think no matter what, this game trundles along doing what it wants anyway. And the only thing that stops you getting through it are these various currencies. So there's 3 currencies. There is literally money, which you get and you can buy clothes with. There is, I'm going to call them K-coins?
K-stars, yeah.
K-stars, yeah, which are Kim Kardashian's own personal... ethereal currency in this world, and they're like your charm. They're like your ability. You use that as a currency to like impress people, so you can jump through hoops or avoid things from happening to you.
Yeah.
So, for example, I use them on my landlord to delay paying my rent. Which I'm now trying to avoid paying at all by buying my own condo. So I'm currently trying to get enough money to avoid paying my own rent.
That's a good strategy. That's a good idea.
Hopefully it could work if I pursue it, because I have no idea if he will still pursue the rent, given that I legally own the money. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen if I pursue that.
You can't be homeless in Kim K Hollywood. I don't think that's an option. So
that'd be interesting if I don't pay my rent. What happens? I would be interested to see if that does change things. I
think you do get punished for things like you lose fans. I think it's more about, so if you do an event badly, you'll lose fans, and so you get punished, and so it slows down your journey. So it's all about a slow rise to the top, and that's always going to be the aim. And you're probably never going to do anything terrible enough to, I don't know, end up at rock bottom. But you will have to just get your fans back and also acquire more. When you get when you get to like class A celeb, they're not drugs. I don't know why
yeah, the really hard celeb. Yeah,
that's the ranking. It gives you because it's sort of like, oh, what more is there to achieve? So there is an option to like do like a comeback story where you like lose all your fans. And I've been too scared to do it because I'm like, no, I've come this far. I can't do it. But it does give you that option to sort of like work your way back up to the top. So,
I mean, it's kind of fascinating though, because I've got to, right. I think I'm trying to be like diplomatic about the game, because I really don't want you to feel like I've brought you on to just tell you I hate this video game. But
I expected nothing less.
yeah. It's not. I found it really interesting when you said it's an app, because I think you're right. I am loath to call this a game. I'm loath to call it a game because I don't understand what exactly it is that I'm meant to find engaging. I guess if you like the brand, it's cool to engage with the brand. But the actual playing of the game, the worst part is it doesn't let me play it. It doesn't actually let me do anything because I just run out of energy. And then it goes, either you could buy energy, which is obviously what the whole thing is actually about. I can watch an advert to get one piece of energy, and bearing in mind one piece of energy is usually not enough to do anything. Or I can just wait. And that's obvious. And again, like, the waiting means that if I am like really prudent and frugal, I can wait for all my energy to come up. I can go and do one event well, and then I can do nothing else. And I just have to wait until the next time the energies come back. And even then, I might not have enough energy to do an event well, even when I have full energy, because some events take up so much energy that you can't actually complete them with what you have.
Well, it's not a game to be played all day, Lewis. Like, everything in moderation. It's not...
But what's to be played? You just tap the screen until it says you're out of energy, come back later.
You tap the screen, you achieve your goals, you can buy stuff at the shop. There's also, like, they have events where you, like, put together outfits and people vote on them. You can travel the world.
You can with
so many
amazing
events
ease.
in Tokyo. Yeah, it's real quick. You can be in Dubai in like 1 second.
Yeah, you can. For like $12.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess because I've been playing it so long, $12 is nothing to me, really. I've got the option to buy my own private jet, so I don't even have to pay the $12. But I just don't think it's worth it.
No, it's probably not worth the investment. I agree. Not in this world where air travel's marginally more expensive than the bus.
Yeah, it'd be like I could go to I don't know, Jersey for like $15, or like
downtown to LA for $4, like
Milan for like $120. I'm like, it's fine, it's calm.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. Which is obviously like, again, that's the game balancing stuff out, because it wouldn't be fun if it did cost $700 to go to a location, because you'd turn up, do the one thing you need to do there, and then have to wait until the following day in order to get back.
Yeah, no, that would be silly. I think the game is more about, I guess, because it's not competitive in a way, it's just about building your own world. Because I've always liked those build your own world games, because it's just maybe like therapeutic. It's like a whole space that you can control, and you're responsible for everything in there, and there's so many options of stuff that you can do.
I mean, this is the thing though, are you in control of this game? It just sort of, I don't feel like you make any sort of creative input into the game. I feel like it just presents you with the pre-made option, and you go, that pre-made option, and it goes, okay, that pre-made option's done. Like, maybe with the outfits, you can customize the outfits. There's a lot of things you can buy. Mm-hmm. And, like, again, that varies, that crosses over different currencies, which, again, is designed to make sure that you put money into the game. And then, I mean, so there's that side of it. But, like, when you're talking about, like, I'm running my own TV show, I run my own production company, I manage my own businesses.
Yeah.
You just sort of press the button that says, buy the business. And then it's like you press the button that's like, stock the business.
Yeah, but today I launched a perfume, and it gave me options of what kind of scent it should be. They were like fruity, woody, or something else, and I went with fruity. But so
does
much
that change anything?
There, Lewis.
Do they come back and they go, fruity's not fashionable right now, you've messed up? Or do they go, good job,
no,
fruity was the correct choice?
I know how to launch a campaign properly, so obviously it was going to do well. I invested what I needed to invest. No, it does make a difference, because if you maximize how much you invest, then you get the maximum reward. But if you don't invest as much, or you don't have as much money to invest, then you won't get as much. You can go
but you can't, it doesn't, there's no... So, right, for the sake of comparison, there is another, and to sort of flip it onto the exact opposite end of the, interest spectrum, there is a game called Game Developer Tycoon, where the idea is you are running a game studio, and you have to hire staff, you have to decide what types of video game you're going to make, you have to develop the technology, you have to basically resource manage a small game developer business. And that is a game where literally everything you pick does have an impact and matters. So, for example, if you pick a genre of video game that you haven't done any market research in, the game can turn around and go, that type of game is not popular, it's bombed, you've lost your money, what do you want to do? You can you research into areas to be like, okay, what are the best ways to combine certain things? You have to hire people based on their competencies and make sure that you're managing, if you've got someone who's amazing on sound, you need to make sure that they can jump into a project where the sound's good, but then they need to take a holiday. So your next video game can't have good sound. So what are you going to do?
That all sounds like way too much work, Lewis. I don't want that. I don't want that from my games. I want it to be simple. I just want to have a nice little escape. It's 5 minutes, It's 5 minutes, you're at work, you just spend 5 minutes on it, and that's all I need. That's all I need per day. And, if I want to try really hard on it, I can. And if you can collect extra energy if you just sort of travel around the world and click on certain things.
Yeah. I tapped a seagull and he gave me some money, and I was like, that doesn't work. That's not how my life is. I can't tap seagulls and get money.
But I don't really need there to be that much variation or consequences, because that's not what I want. I don't want to because I don't my whole life isn't this game. But if I ignored it for 2 days and I lost everything, I'd be pissed off. I'd be I think the stakes are too high then. I just want a low stakes, easy ride with some nice outfits and where I can change my hair if I want. And you know what? I think as you play it more, the storylines get more interesting. I've set people up on dates on a dating show, and I had to make good choices there, because I would tell the dates, I would be the person going on the date. She'd be like, "Is this guy weird?" I'd be like, "Yeah, he's a bit weird. Don't go." So
that's quite interesting, because that's definitely something I feel like, because this is a mobile free mobile app game, and I am unwilling to spend money in order to progress in it, I haven't got very far in the game, and I feel like, I mean, you say you've been playing, what, have you playing it for like a year, over a year, in terms of how long?
Probably years, but also I think when I first got it, I played it for maybe that year, and then not again for ages. Like, I think there's been like a good 2-3 years where I haven't played it. I just...
Okay. But like, it takes a long time to get to the level that you're at, is basically the point. I'll hold off on that question for now, but I will say, the level at which I'm at in the game. So you do meet some characters, and like, I don't want to talk the game down too much in terms of like, they're reasonably well written. Like, they're not amazing. They're not like the funniest people you've ever met in a game, but like, they've got some character to them. They are like, expressive, and they do things like, you've got your agent who's a bit out of touch, but wants to impress you and sort of uses lingo in a way that's thing. You've got a publicist who appears to have anger problems. You've got your nemesis, as you say, Willow, who's just awful. And so like, there's a part of me that's sort of thinking, okay, maybe if I was more into like the idea of the Kardashian celebrity world, and I was more into that idea of what it was, actually maybe this works all right as a bit of a sort of visual novel story thing. Like, as you say, you actually get a bit more invested into the character and the world a bit more. Like, is that true? Is that the case?
I think there are storylines, and to be fair, the storylines don't last too long, but I think they're long enough, and they'll be sort of like exciting story. Like, maybe they'll be seasonal, there'll be something for Halloween, and you can decorate your house all Halloweeny. I'm in the middle of doing like a horror film or something at the moment, and I'm pretty sure that there's a ghost in my house because I keep seeing this weird ghost figure. I
didn't expect. I didn't expect there to be ghosts in this game.
That's it. I'm sure that it's like a hoax. It's like a trick. I'm sure that someone's like putting like a hologram or something in my house to fuck with me. But I haven't finished the horror movie yet. But I'm just like, that's my prediction of what it will be. Why there's a ghost in my house.
I mean, that would be... I mean, I know that holograms are kind of a thing now, but even then, that's hilariously sci-fi. But then even then, I think about, how do I know holograms are a thing? Oh yeah, Kim Kardashian owns one.
Oh yeah, of course. I think, because do you know why I started playing the game? I'm not anti-Kardashians. I'm not necessarily pro them. I think I'm more pro them than I was a few years ago. I just feel like I don't like them being scapegoated for like everything that's wrong with the world and with the way that female celebrities get treated, because I'm just sort of like, well, we've been doing this for ages. There's been a unrealistic body ideal for ages. I feel like there are women who profit off of patriarchy, so people don't like them for it. But I'm like, well, look, if you can, then just do it. I don't have a problem with it. I think people, and they're sort of like, oh, what about little girls? Look at seeing them on Instagram. And I'm like, there was no hope for little girls anyway. Like, why?
That's just despair, Mary. That's just.
But it's not their fault. It's like, what about Instagram that makes an algorithm so you see all of that? What about it's just, if it wasn't the Kardashians, it would be someone else. Like, I don't think they should be. I don't think they're to blame for.
I think the argument, if it wasn't the Kardashians, it would be someone else, isn't necessarily untrue. It just means that I would also not like the person who replaced them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I just, to be honest, I don't think they're that bad. I don't think, if you actually look at them, if you watch the show, it's boring. They're boring.
To me, it's more the idea. So, right, I'm not sure. So, right, this Kim Kardashian game exists and is on my phone, and I could download it for free. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks, who is this aimed at in terms of the people who made it? Because I feel like it's like pretty much everything with the Kardashians. It is cynically made. It is designed to make money. Like, there's nothing about the Kim Kardashian Hollywood game that I'm playing where I'm there going, ah, yes, an artist's vision fulfilled. Like, there's no element to this game where I'm going like, this is anything other than a product. So I go, okay, analyze it from the perspective of a product. Who is the target demographic of the product? It's probably teenage girls.
I think it's maybe teenage girls. I think women in general, and maybe gay men, because I come across male players. But honestly, like, I think even in the last few updates, I think it's gotten more inclusive. I feel like I can't remember what it's like. I feel like you can maybe have a range of body types. I don't think that it's necessarily. Like, I think it's automatically a skinny person, but I think you can change that. They've also included in, like, the different types of hairstyles, like, they've got, like, a few hijabs and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. You can, like, actually dress, like, you know, how you would look, and, like, a range of skin colours and that. And I guess the thing is, because this is also similar to games that I've played as a teenager, or like called like Star Doll or something, where it is literally the same. Like, it's just about the show of it. It's like just being able to be in different outfits and do different things and shop and try things with makeup. Like, it's I think it's kind of giving the people who play it all that they want, really.
But this is the thing that's interesting to me, because there are games that are about that already exist, where they're sort of like, you know, Ubisoft's been making loads of games like that. Animal Crossing is arguably this sort of game where it's all about, you know, you acquire furniture and outfits and you build your own home and your village, and like it's not necessarily about, you know, winning. Winning is not necessarily the objective. It's just about accumulation and, you know, as you say, you dip in. It's not something you intensely play for hours. It's something you drop by, you have a go, you come to and from and find it. But where those games, I'm like, that's not necessarily for me, but fine, you know. I've played The Sims recently, and I think The Sims is a much more intense video game than people give it credit for, actually. I think The Sims is actually, like, surprisingly hardcore. But The Sims, well, The Sims, when you buy it, is like a video game that's complete in itself. You can buy The Sims, and it goes, there's The Sims. Play all you want of the things in The Sims. If you want to add additional stuff, we'll charge you. But what you've got right there is all yours.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian Hollywood wants my money more than anything in my life. Kim Kardashian would love to be my video game landlord. It wants every cent it could possibly get out of me. But rather than, like, presenting me with things that I want with that, what it does is it just basically sees if it can annoy me into giving it money. Because it just gets in my way. And it won't let me do anything unless I give it money. And even if I do give it money, that won't be enough. That will sate it for some time, and then it will go, oh, you've run out. Give us more money if you want to keep going. And that's what makes me worried about Kim Kardashian Hollywood.
You've got to decide not to spend any money on it. I don't spend any money on it.
So you've never spent any money on this game?
I think maybe like 99p once, but like, no, I don't spend money on it. I'm not really.
Here's the thing, is you don't have to spend any money to get it to happen, because this is a business model called whaling, where the premise is that the majority of people will not spend money on the game, but one in every 1,000 people or so will. And it's not just that they'll spend money once, it's that they will keep spending the money. And the whole premise, this whole business model, it's a well-established thing in the game industry, is that you are trying to find the person who becomes uncontrollably addicted to the game and keeps pouring money into it. And this is the thing, I'm not necessarily laying that exclusively at the Kardashian Hollywood door. This is a business. This is most mobile games now.
Work. That's Candy Crush. That's all of them.
But I especially hate it in this, because do you know what the difference between this and Candy Crush is? At least Candy Crush is a game. At least in Candy Crush, you've got to match the candy. At least there's a thing you can do and think about and try and be good at. Whereas in this game, you're spending money so that you can tap the button 3 times and then it goes away.
But you're building a world that's completely your own.
The world's built for you. You're building
businesses.
You're going to a theme park, and there's a gate every 5 meters, and it goes spend money or wait. It's not your choices. It's not your choices though. There is no creative input into this game. It's not Minecraft. It's not even some elements of Animal Crossing. You can like create designs and put them on things. Like the game just trundles along. Things happen to you. You can pick options to progress it, but everything's rigid. Everything is stuck where it is. You are not creating or designing anything new. You are picking up the things that are already designed and going, and now this is mine.
Yeah, that's called shopping, Lewis. We all like to do it.
Shopping defines this game. This
Yeah,
game is shopping
expect?
on a...
It's a Kim Kardashian game. Everyone who knows, they know what it is. It's Kim
But that's not the thing.
No
You
one's
told
like,
me it was
"Oh,
building an empire. You told me it was
am.
making decisions and just launching a perfume range. It's not. It's shopping. It's picking up a perfume and going, I'm launching this. You don't design the perfume. You don't make any creative decisions about the perfume. And it doesn't matter what decisions you make about it because the game doesn't react.
It does react. If you launch an event, that's the best thing to do. If you do something else, it's not as good. And it's like... Of course it's shopping. Why is there's no surprise. No one is going into Kim Kardashian Hollywood being like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize it would be so much shopping." Like
no, it's not there's so much shopping, but there's not but shopping is just picking things up and going, "Oh, I'm buying this." There's no and it's like that in the game.
But
You
that
shop for
makes
clothes, you
people
shop for
happy.
things, and then outside the game it's also your shopping because you have to keep buying things if you want to do anything.
Lewis, people like shopping. It gives them joy. I love spending money. I
have no doubt you love spending money, but I bet one of the things that you love about spending money is the thing you get once you've done it. And the thing you get out of Kim Kardashian Hollywood if you spend the money is nothing.
No, but it's just they've made it so that it has value to you. It's because so many games, like, you know, if you buy an extra life in Candy Crush, that's nothing, but it has value to that person.
Oh, I hate that too. Don't worry.
Kim Kardashian, it's great because have you been on any dates yet in the world? Because you can have as many romantic partners as you want. And
but it's the same. You just tap on things until they go away. But then you run out of energy and then you have to wait.
But you can
that's it.
You can get married and you can have children. Max 2, apparently.
Yeah, because it's a preordained world where you can't actually make any decisions.
But you can put the kids in little outfits and give them names. I just don't see... I
mean, it's fantastic
I love my Kim K kids.
You can spend money in this game to just buy little JPEGs of clothes and just look at the JPEGs of clothes and go, oh, that's nice. That's the thing. I feel like you can... The thing that I found, which I was really surprised by, is that you can like preview any outfit on your avatar before you buy it.
Yeah.
You don't need to buy anything now. You've just done it.
Well, you've seen what it looks like, but that's not, you know, you get the points for having the outfit. It's good to change your outfit. You'll get noticed more if you change your clothes a lot. You don't get the, you know, it's like, yeah, you can try something on in the shop, but you're not going to have the benefit of owning it. That's the same with real life.
If I buy the clothes in real life, I get to keep the clothes and I can wear them and they have a physical... The clothes in the reality have a utility.
So do the clothes in the closet of your Kim K Hollywood, because it might be...
No, they don't keep me warm.
There might be a campaign or something where you can win points based on your outfit. Because you're not doing the extras.
But then you're just buying the points.
You're not buying the points. You've put together an outfit and people vote whether they think your outfit is better than another outfit, and then you win things.
Who does the voting?
Other players.
Do they? I didn't know that. I haven't got to that part. That's the first thing you've told me that is actually a game element.
I mean, I don't know, what is yours? I don't know what you have access to, but if you...
I mean, I've got it here. This is one of the things that's nice about having a game on phone, is I can open it up right in front of us. I've got it running now. Where am I right now? Also, this game takes a weirdly long time to load. Okay, I'm currently at the a launch event. Which, God, what's this? My rival's here. I've got 11 energy, so let's do this live, Mary. What should I do? I can socialise for 4 energy, bust a move for 6, or chit chat for 2.
And so I think it's always best to do the ones with the most
Okay, that's
take
bust
the
a
most
move.
energy.
So I'll just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And if
right,
you
I busted
tap on,
a move.
If you tap on all the stars, it takes time off the energy renewal process.
Oh, I learnt this. You don't have to tap them. They just pick them up.
No, if you tap them, it will...
No, it just picks them up. If you just wait, it picks them up. You don't have to tap them.
No, I know you don't have to tap them, but if you do tap them individually, it takes the time off the energy. It will take off 5 seconds per star or thing tapped.
Cool. Okay, I can still chit chat for 2. I can socialise for 4, or I can get comfy for 1. So you say go.
How many stars have you completed?
I've got 5. Oh, how many stars? I've got 1 and a bit.
Oh.
I think if I socialise and then get comfy, I'm using all the energy I've got. So let's do that.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's that done.
Do you know, later on there's a storyline where you can be friends with Willow Pape.
I will never be friends with Willow Pape.
You can choose whether to trust her or not. I didn't trust her.
So yeah, but that gives our view. I mean, I know they can't see, but that's what it's like to play Kim Kardashian Hollywood. That's the main gameplay thing. That's not even me being like, I've picked a boring bit. That's like what you do. That's like you're hoping to get to those events. You're skipping through boring dialogue sometimes to get to that event.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because I've always played like build your own world adventure games, it's so normal to me. Like that's the same in Castle Story, Bakery Story, whatever. It's all just like something.
You've made a lot of people listening go, adventure game.
Maybe not adventure.
But this is the thing that it's Kim Kardashian Hollywood, and it's like I think it's the funny choice to make it Kim Kardashian Hollywood for me, because you know me and you know that this is like this is like presenting like I hate licorice, and it's like you must eat a bag of licorice, and I'm like, great, thank you. I'm so glad that this is my thing that's done. But this is the thing, Kim Kardashian Hollywood could. There's so many games that are this, and you can get them for any brand you like. Like there's a Simpsons one, there's the Family Guy, South Park, all of these have them. My Little Pony will have one. Like every age group, every demographic, the whole world is now full of games that are this game, where you just press things and then you wait, and then you press things and then you wait.
Sounds amazing.
And you can absolutely shout me down and correct me on this if you think I'm wrong about this, because this is a thing I'm just going to put out there and see what you say. It's a video game for people who do not care about video games and who do not like them.
Absolutely, I don't like video games. I don't like them at all. I couldn't give a shit about video games.
So here's the question, is why are you playing anything? Why are you picking up Kim Kardashian Hollywood and letting it just sap away your time with its nothingness?
Because I like how it feels. It's not like I play it and just focus on it. I'll be watching TV, and this is just like what I do as well. Like instead of scrolling through Twitter and, you know, seeing everyone's thoughts, I don't want to see that. I don't care about that. This is just something I do that relaxes me. It's fun to do, but it's also, you know, my life doesn't depend on it. I can't really get too invested or addicted to it. I know it doesn't matter. It's just a nice, it's just a nice thing.
It just feels like you've got a Rubik's Cube where every side is the same colour. And you're like, leave me alone. I like twisting it.
I think that's exactly what it is. I would
like,
love
you can't
that
win.
Rubik's Cube.
You can't solve it. It's not about solving the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah,
the
but the
idea
thing
you
is
could
that
solve the Rubik's Cube is too stressful.
No, but that would probably stop you from smoking if you're a smoker. It's just something to do with your hands, Lewis.
Has this been made by the Catholic Church to distract us all from doing anything else with our hands? Is that what Kim Kardashian Hollywood is? But it's not something that's just to distract your hands, because it's something to distract your hands while insipidly going, you could pay money and skip this. Like, the whole thing is just a constant, like, it's constantly pushing you and baiting you to spend money on it, even though there is no reason to do so.
Look, if you spend money on it, you probably get some joy from doing that. And if you can afford to spend money on Kim K Hollywood, then do it. I don't care what you do. Don't bankrupt yourself. But honestly, I don't.
Don't spend money on things like
Why
this.
not?
Please don't.
Why not?
Don't
If it brings you
this.
joy, just do it. I don't care what people spend their money on. Like, it's more. Do you know what people spend their money on? Fish, and look what that's done.
But fish has a utility value.
Yeah, but it's doing so much damage. This is.
Look, there's no ethical consuming under capitalism anyway. But it's just, I think the thing that bugs me is that it feels to me like it's a trick. I feel like if Kim Kardashian Hollywood didn't have these mechanics, it didn't have the energy build-up mechanic, it didn't have, like, if all the currencies were in-game and you couldn't buy them.
Yeah.
It's not just that it would still be a bad game. It would still be, I would still flick through it and be like, this is frothy nonsense that's not for me. It doesn't, like, get outside of what it is.
Yeah.
But for a Kim Kardashian fan, they'd probably have a pretty nice time. You'd probably have a good time with it, enjoy it. And it would probably last maybe a few hours. And then everyone who had ever bothered about it would move on, and that would be that. But I feel like it's designed in such a way as to deliberately be addictive. It's deliberately designed to hook you back in, to come back later, to put the timer on screen, to tell you can get more energy by watching adverts, to tell you that there's a special offer on. Yeah. Everything about the game is a cynically designed, engineered slot machine with no payout.
But, you know, I used to love slot machines.
But you can at least win a slot machine.
But you won't. You're so unlikely to. It doesn't. It's the same. It's all the same. It's all the same concept.
But like,
this
but
is
the
just
slot
a different
machines
journey.
odds, the slots machines odds have gone from like 1 in 50 to just 0.
But
to
the
just
thing
nothing.
It's because you don't see any value in doing well in the game, but other people would. They would be like, "Oh, I've got this many fans. This makes me feel happy. I like that. I like that I've achieved that much in this game."
Yeah. And we're talking about video games. Video games are ultimately arbitrary and nonsense. They're ultimately about nothing.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is that when you buy a video game, when you buy like a game that exists in terms of like it's like 40 quid, that's the game. Mm-hmm. You can get all the fans. You can pursue the quests and get all the outfits and things, and that is all ever expected of you. Whereas this game is not about just giving you the fans and making you feel good. It's about constantly telling you will feel better once you spend money and achieve this. And it doesn't want to give you a satisfying experience of, oh, I'm happy because I'm enjoying playing this. It wants to give you the experience of, I just want the next thing. And that to me is the opposite of a satisfying game. Because you've told me right now, you are too scared to do the comeback story thing.
Yeah.
Because you value the thing you've unlocked too much. Which tells me you also don't care about the game part. Because otherwise you'd want to play the game again.
No, because I'm still playing the game. It's just different storylines. You have access to different things when you get higher up. It would just be a different journey back to the top. But
it feels like you're losing things.
Yeah, but
things that you know would take either. It would either take money or time, and both are valuable.
Yeah, I guess it took a long time for me to get that many fans, and it is addictive, but I just don't think it's more addictive than something like Candy Crush or Two Dots or like any of those other games.
Okay, well, so you've mentioned Two Dots, which I have played.
Yeah.
Two Dots is a puzzle. Two Dots engages your brain. To solve Two Dots, like that's the point of Two Dots, is you solve it. There are ways to get like optimal scores in Two Dots, and you're meant to essentially try and figure out the best way to get combinations and combos.
Yeah.
I mean, they're ultimately based on puzzle games that already existed. They've just been repackaged for mobile phones.
Yeah.
Like, Two Dots is all right. I've actually enjoyed Two Dots whenever I've played it on my phone.
Yeah, I don't mind it, but then it just got really hard, and there were so many different things introduced, and I'm like, oh, what does this thing mean? Like, you know, then there's the flames, and then there's the shadow, and there's all sorts of things that I just don't remember, and if you don't play it every day, I forget what those things mean.
So you just got to it's retaining information is the thing you like about Kim Kardashian Hollywood. It expects you to not retain information.
It doesn't ask loads of me, and because I don't have loads to give, I'm playing it like half paying attention, half. Not like I'm not, it doesn't have my full attention. It never has had my full attention. I usually play it, I remember sort of sneakily playing it at work because I just didn't really want to do work, but it's not.
I agree. It's probably better than work. I think I can give it that credit at least. It's like it's at least got some like the cartoons are like inoffensive if slightly appealing. Like it's satisfying to just tap things on the screen and watch the currencies go up.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to call it. There's a very famous game called Cookie Clicker, which is basically it's an online browser game. And the whole point of Cookie Clicker was to sort of talk about game. It's not quite Kim Kardashian Hollywood, but it's games in a similar area. Well, the whole premise of the game is if you click the cookie on the screen, you get a cookie. And then when you get enough cookies, you can buy an oven, and that will automatically give you 10 cookies every 3 seconds. So you can keep clicking the cookie, and then you can buy another oven, and you get more cookies. And when you get even more cookies, you can buy a bigger oven, and that will automatically get you 100 cookies every 10 seconds. And the idea is that this builds and builds and scales until you are getting like quintillion cookies from cookie mines and cookie planets and exploiting the cookie resources of the entire universe. And the whole point of the game's design is that nothing in the game matters. Like, it doesn't matter that you acquire cookies, but the process of acquiring them is very addictive and very enjoyable.
I could definitely spend 12 minutes doing that. I could see myself doing that.
I'll give it a Google. Cookie Clicker is an excellent way to waste your life. It's a really satisfying way to just let time disappear from you. But so look, let's be honest. Look, no one was in any doubt. This is obviously not the best video game I've never played. I'm struggling to be on side here, though. I'm struggling to call it a video game. I'm struggling to say I think it's good in its own right. I guess if you like the Kardashian brand, this might be the best thing on offer in terms of games. I don't know if there's a Kardashian game elsewhere. Maybe there is. Maybe she's got an excellent RPG that I'm unaware of. But also, I sort of hate it on a fundamental and ethical level.
Why?
Because
why?
It has
because she wants to make some money. Everyone knows that about her already.
Because it wants to make money out of me in exchange for nothing.
That's how all those games work. That's just
and I hate them all.
In-app purchases.
But it's especially egregious here because with something like we mentioned Two Dots and Candy Crush, at least those games are games. At least those games do engage me and have a mechanic and an idea in them. And I don't like the way they're making money, but at least there's something there. With Kim Kardashian Hollywood, there's nothing. There's no game.
What I quite like about it is that because the whole sort of like the different types of currencies and the K-stars is kind of the one where you almost in a lot of games that's the one that you almost always have to just pay for. Like there's no other way to get them. With this one, you can actually earn them. It takes a bit longer, but there's ways of earning them. Like you can earn quite a lot if you just make the right decisions.
But you're telling me now how like the main way you earn things in this game is either through patience or adverts. And
that's like how many patience?
How many adverts have you watched playing this game?
I always put the phone to the side when the advert comes on and look at something else.
But how many times have you pressed that watch advert button?
I don't know.
Bet it's loads. Absolutely loads. This is a game that just actively wants to waste your time and monetize it and monetize you wasting your time. It wants you to go, oh, there's an advert, press the advert, and it gets paid while you sit there and wait, so it can give you a currency that doesn't exist in exchange for a thing that isn't real.
Yeah, but Lewis, I got something on the TV. It doesn't matter to me that there's an advert happening because it's not my whole life.
But put it this way, the game isn't made for you, it's made for Kim.
Of course it is. I know that. I know that. Do you know why I downloaded the game in the first place? It's because
why did you download it?
I read an article, and this was ages ago, so I don't think it's true anymore, but I read an article that Kim makes most of her money through the game rather than her the TV show, and I think this was potentially before her beauty line, because I think that she makes more money from the makeup now. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll check out the game. See,
I'll join in.
see what the fuss is about, because I thought that was interesting, and maybe not something that people would know about her and how she made her money. And I can see why people spend money on it, because they see it as valuable. That's the thing. She's, the game in itself to people will be, it has value. So it doesn't matter what they spend their money on.
It's empty calories, though. Like, so
McDonald's, is a beer.
The point I was going to make is, like, McDonald's is one of the most successful restaurants in the world. It's not necessarily a great restaurant.
No.
And it's not necessarily that McDonald's being successful is good.
No, but it's there, and their branding...
But it's there. It is there.
Their branding is solid, and they can't be...
I don't care about their branding being solid. I have no personal investment in the solid branding of McDonald's. Like, this is the thing. I feel like the Kim Kardashian's really successful at this personal brand element of, like, we're talking about her like we know her, or, like, not necessarily that we know her, but, like, we're talking about her like she isn't actually a massive company of other people. Like, when I say McDonald's, we don't think of a person who is McDonald's. We go, oh, McDonald's, that's all the restaurants and the head offices and... Kim Kardashian hasn't made this game. She occasionally appears in videos, which surprised me when I turned it on once, and suddenly Kim Kardashian's telling me, look forward to things coming up, and I'm like, oh, you're more involved in this than I thought you would be. But, like, this isn't Kim Kardashian's desire. This isn't what she wants to do in the world. She doesn't care about making video games. I imagine she doesn't know how to make a video game. I don't think she's done anything in terms of the development of this game. So, the people making it don't really want to make it. The people playing it are having their time wasted by a game that doesn't really care about them or respect them. And the person whose name is on the brand label doesn't care about the game at all in terms of making it good. Like, that's what upsets me.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that the people who made it didn't want to make it.
They wanted to make the money. I have no doubt they love the money that's come off the back of it. But I don't think this is anyone's passion. I don't think anybody who worked on Kim Kardashian Hollywood is, like, proud. Not necessarily proud's probably an unfair way to put it. It's not their raison d'etre.
I don't think that matters. I still think it's kind of cool. Because you could do so much with it, and it gives you so many options, and it's just a little bit of, and you say that you don't have control, but you kind of do have control for a lot of things, because you're able to do things that you would never be able to do in real life, which is obviously, it's not the same, but it's exciting to know that a lot of things can happen in that game that you spend 8 minutes a day on. Like, it's not a big deal to, and it's playing pretend. It's like, it's just a bit of wishful thinking in your imagination. Like, it's just giving people a cartoon fantasy, which I don't think is a bad thing. I don't, and I don't think that it has no value.
I don't think it's... I don't know, though, because this is now we're talking about the difference between a product and art, really. And I guess
I don't think it's art. I think it's a product, but I think Kim Kardashian is maybe the most artistic product that exists. Like, I think her life is performance art, and
But it's kind of not, though. Like, we're talking about Kim Kardashian Hollywood, and like I just said, you've agreed it's a product, and like, it's not. But that's sort of sad to me. That's like,
look,
it's
you
like
play the game longer, you'll realise how important products are.
It's like going to, I don't know. It's like we're all stood around and applauding an advert and saying, "Oh, adverts are good. I like this advert for a I don't know."
Have you not
I
seen
like
those
this advert for a pillow
countdown shows for the best adverts? I watched those.
I know, those make me kind of sad. But the thing about those adverts is, like, usually the best adverts is like some director actually wanted to do something else and they managed to convince Guinness to fund it. It's like, I don't know. It's more like browsing through the Argos catalogue and being like, this is the best. This is the best thing. This is what I think is the best thing in this world. This is the best book, the Argos catalogue. I love the Argos catalogue. I like the Argos catalogue more than any book that's ever been made.
Look,
and I'm just like,
if a kid had a choice between, Argos catalogue and Great Expectations, I think you know which one is going to get picked because it's exciting, it's shiny, everything like everything is consumerism. Like don't hide from it. This is the way of the world.
But this is giving it so much more credit than it deserves. It implies that it's like satirical or clever, but it's just.
It is in a way because it's sort of. I think if you're interested in fame, it can be quite satirical. Not necessarily in becoming famous, but like because I've always been interested in like fame as a concept, and there are things in the storylines which I think are interesting. It's sort of like, oh, you were seen partying with this person, but we thought you were launching a fitness line. Those don't go together. You've got to fix up, or just like, or talk about, or someone in the press will blackmail you or something. Like the storylines get quite intense.
Well, look, I think here's the thing. I'm going to say I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. It's not the best video game I've ever played. But I want to end on this note because I think you will love this, Mary. In 2019, Polygon, which is a video game website, quite a respected video game website. They sort of consider themselves a more artistic side of video games in terms of analysis and reviews and things. Mm-hmm. Did a top 100 games of the decade. So it's 2010 to 2020. Mm-hmm. Kim Kardashian Hollywood came 86th.
Woo!
For the sake of the people listening, just to let you know, the games that Kim Kardashian Hollywood beat include Control, Monster Hunter World, Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Resident Evil 7, The Walking Dead, What Remains of Edith Finch, Cuphead, Super Mario Maker, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Slay the Spire, Life is Strange. There are some other slightly more obscure games in there. Look, I can't explain how that happened, but you know what, Mary? You are not alone in thinking that this is a great video game, so fair enough.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that was Mary O'Connell with her choice of game, Kim Kardashian Hollywood. I'm really grateful Mary did the show. I'm really glad she came on. I had such fun talking to her. And I think this is a really good example of one of the podcasts where I had significantly more fun discussing the game than playing it. I think Kim Kardashian Hollywood is something that it's going to be like a piece of trivia that I can bring up that I have for some reason got experience playing it, and people will be surprised. And I'm looking forward to in the future being able to expunge all memories of Kim Kardashian Hollywood from my brain, except for the recording of this podcast, which I did have enormous fun. A huge thanks to Mary for coming on and bringing on the game. I think she did a really valiant effort and a fantastic job of defending the game. Although I do feel like the moment in which she agreed the game is not for people who like video games was sort of a moment in which I will always consider fondly when remembering Mary, of someone who agreed to come on a video game podcast despite the fact she actively doesn't like video games at all. So I can't. So in a way, I deserve this. In a way, I fully deserve exactly this experience of making someone who doesn't like video games play video games, and then they made me play a video game. I asked if she wanted to come back on to play a video game that I recommend to her, and she couldn't. She couldn't have said no quick enough. So, thank you again to Mary for coming on. Hey, if you're listening to this, Any Suggestions Doctor is on tour. We are going to be in London on the 4th of December. It is going to be great. It's at the Museum of Comedy, which is in Bloomsbury. Come along, have a good time. We've got other dates coming up next year. It is an improvised Doctor Who parody. Maybe you don't like Doctor Who. It doesn't matter. This is really, really funny. Maybe you love Doctor Who. Great news. It's like Doctor Who, but it's funny. What could go wrong? Everyone enjoys something that's funny. You can also like and subscribe to this podcast and all the gubbins and buttons and nonsense you can do. Just the things that exist. And that's it. Thanks very much for listening. Stay safe.